Now, in Germany, Europe's biggest economy, the Chancellor Olaf Scholz has called the new U.S. tariffs fundamentally wrong.
In a dramatic and unexpected turn of events, America's auto industry, long hailed as the crown jewel of its industrial empire, has found itself in a full-blown crisis. Within just a few weeks, a geopolitical chain reaction shattered the United States' stronghold on the global auto market. More than 200,000 auto jobs vanished overnight, stock values of legacy manufacturers tanked, and once bustling production plants now echo with silence. Small towns that had bet everything on international trade are facing economic ruin. So, what went wrong? How did the world's most powerful car industry fall so fast? The dominoes began to fall in Germany, Europe's automotive nerve center. Chancellor Olaf Scholz publicly slammed new U.S. tariffs as fundamentally wrong, igniting a diplomatic firestorm. But this wasn't just rhetoric. In a retaliatory strike, Germany froze the certification process for electric vehicles, EVs, made in the United States, citing new sustainability and software transparency standards. It wasn't just a regulatory technicality, it was a shot across the bow. Germany, the economic engine of Europe and gateway to the EU market, essentially barred U.S. automakers from reaching 440 million European consumers. The message was loud and clear. U.S. vehicles no longer met the standard. The consequences were swift and brutal. Tesla's Model Y shipments were literally turned back at the docks in Bremerhaven. Ford's highly anticipated electric Explorer never even got clearance to touch European soil. General Motors, who had been banking on their Ultium platform to re-enter the EU market, had their plans iced indefinitely. Regulators claimed the vehicles lacked proper data transparency and didn't meet Europe's evolving emissions benchmarks. The result? A full stop for American EV exports to Europe, cut off from a market that had been integral to their growth strategy. If you've made it this far, this story is only getting deeper. What do you think? Is this the beginning of the end for America's grip on the auto world? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're into stories that dig beneath the surface of global industry shakeups, hit that like button and stay tuned. Let's keep going. This wasn't just a logistical hiccup, it was a total collapse of trust. Germany's move sent shockwaves through boardrooms and trading floors. It wasn't just about compliance, it reflected a broader disillusionment with American-made vehicles. Then came a twist nobody expected. Canada sided with Europe. In a joint statement with France and Germany, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney announced that Canada would mirror the EU's EV regulations and subsidy structures. The move stunned Washington and sent Detroit's Big Three into full crisis mode. The implications were immediate and chaotic. Vehicles that had once freely entered Europe and Canada were now being stopped cold at their borders. American EVs rerouted from Hamburg to Halifax were met with the same icy reception: denial of entry. The ports turned into graveyards of stranded electric vehicles. Rows upon rows of Teslas, Fords, and GM SUVs sat idle on the docks, engines silent, paperwork under scrutiny. Dealerships across both continents, once eager to showcase the latest American-made tech, began canceling orders en masse. Contracts were voided, payments were withheld. Some dealers even filed lawsuits for breach of delivery, further entangling the automakers in legal troubles. Inspection teams in Canada were ordered to enforce new regulations down to the microchip level, requiring full transparency on where each battery cell came from, how its software collected data, and whether it complied with new digital privacy mandates. For Tesla, Ford, and GM, the timing couldn't have been worse. Thousands of EVs were effectively homeless, fully built, shipped overseas, yet denied a destination. Warehouses filled up, storage costs ballooned, logistics networks, designed for constant motion, froze in place. As the crisis unfolded, Wall Street didn't wait for answers. Analysts downgraded Tesla, Ford, and GM within hours. Do not buy advisories spread like wildfire. Tesla shares dropped by 11% in a single trading session. Ford and GM weren't far behind, falling 9% and 7% respectively. This wasn't just a short-term dip. It was a reflection of the growing belief that American EVs were losing their global relevance. Investors began shifting capital to Chinese and European automakers that were now poised to dominate. Tesla took the brunt of the damage. Elon Musk had staked his European future on the Gigafactory in Berlin, pouring billions into local production. But the regulatory environment turned hostile. German banks pulled out. Government subsidies vanished. The plant, which was supposed to produce 500,000 vehicles annually, now operated at a fraction of its capacity. The very market Tesla had hoped to conquer was now treating it like a hostile outsider. Things only got worse. France and Germany introduced a luxury EV tax aimed squarely at foreign vehicles priced over $40,000. Most of Tesla's lineup, along with premium models from Ford and GM, were hit hard. Buyers saw sudden price hikes of up to $9,000 on certain models, and sales cratered overnight. Then came the bombshell. Europe banned American self-driving software outright. Tesla's full self-driving system, offline. Waymo and Cruise, denied. The EU cited data privacy, lack of transparency, and algorithmic bias. But the subtext was clear. Europe didn't trust American tech companies harvesting user data on their roads. Thousands of Teslas in Europe lost access to core features. Meanwhile, US companies lost critical testing ground for AI training, putting them behind in the self-driving race. The final nail in the coffin came fast, and without warning. In a coordinated sweep, European customs authorities seized more than 12,000 US-made EVs in a single week. Among them were flagship models like Ford's Explorer EV, GM's Cadillac Lyriq, and Tesla's Model Y. These weren't routine spot checks. They were large-scale confiscations, executed with military-like precision, and aimed at delivering one unambiguous message: conform to our standards, or stay out. The seized vehicles weren't just held up, they were impounded indefinitely. Parking lots near key ports like Rotterdam, Antwerp, and Hamburg turned into massive holding zones, with rows of gleaming electric vehicles collecting dust behind barbed wire fences. Some were parked so tightly they looked like inventory at an auto graveyard, abandoned not by their makers, but by the global market they once proudly served. Media images of the seizures quickly went viral, symbolizing the broader collapse of America's global automotive presence. European regulators issued statements citing serious violations: missing carbon traceability documentation, non-compliant software telemetry systems, and unresolved privacy concerns over self-driving data logs. The message was clear: technological advancement was no longer enough. Trust, transparency, and environmental accountability had become the new currency of international trade. Internal memos circulated across Detroit warning of imminent cutbacks and shifting market priorities. It wasn't just a business problem anymore. It was an identity crisis. The companies that once symbolized innovation and freedom of the open road had been benched in the most public, humiliating way possible. President Trump, never one to hold back, launched a tirade on Truth Social. He called Canada's move a betrayal of Western unity and labeled Europe's EV rules a disgrace to capitalism. In retaliation, he slapped new tariffs on Canadian EVs and battery components. But instead of stabilizing the industry, the move only deepened the uncertainty. Investors grew even more jittery. Within 3 weeks, more than 200,000 American auto jobs disappeared. Entire production lines were shut down. Plants in Kentucky, Missouri, Michigan, and Ohio shuttered overnight. Engineers, factory workers, compliance officers, all swept into unemployment. Supply chains collapsed. Small businesses that supplied parts or services to automakers folded. Local economies, already fragile, began to spiral into recession. America's dominance in the auto world had been dismantled. It wasn't just about trade barriers or red tape. It was about perception. American vehicles were now seen as outdated, non-compliant, and untrustworthy. Foreign regulators had locked them out intentionally. The era of U.S. automotive leadership was over, and the industry was forced to grapple with an uncertain future. The fall of the American auto empire didn't happen by accident. It was the result of years of missed signals, poor diplomacy, and a failure to evolve. The rest of the world moved forward, while America stood still. Now, as Canadian and European roads grow quiet to the hum of American EVs, U.S. automakers face a tough question. How do you rebuild trust on the global stage? And more importantly, will the world even give them a second chance?